Radiant's turn to ban.
Tournament was being depicted in this photo. That's right. Looking like TNC Predator. Who was it? A, B, C, D. Hamburg 2019.
And you know what? What is amazing about this DHL quiz? The fact that here Hamburg 2019, it was Gambit versus TNC in the grand final. TNC playing on TNC. Bam! March. He is now the coach of T1. This team here, who was playing for mid lane on Gambit, the losing team. Bam!
GPK?
GPK playing for VP. We have two players from that very question in this grand final. Once again, SEA versus Eastern Europe, round 2 for ESL. Maybe. I didn't fact check that, but...
Production, was that planned? Because that's actually quite impressive if it was
very impressive.
Because of all the random tournaments that you could have shown, the fact that there are this many connections,
so many connections,
intrigues me. This is seems suspicious.
Will GPK get his revenge, Tsunami?
That's what I want to know. Wait, it was 2019?
2019.
Ooh, it's been a whole 2 years since that happened. What did they play in grand finals? Because let me tell you what they're going to play in this game. It's going to be Doom. They take it away from T1 because Viper and AA is banned. DK and Leshrac are banned.
Yep, that's pretty much the important thing here. We spoke a lot about the idea of Viper being a tournament hero. Because VP is first pick, they don't feel like they have to ban it this time. They can take it away. But I feel like when you're drafting against these types of teams, if you're taking away a team's specialty hero, they should also know how to deal with the specialty hero.
And they pick up the Winter Wyvern and the Magnus. And you were saying, Curtis, that Magnus might be a hero that VP would keep their eyes on.
Yeah, I think for both teams, they ran the Magnus pretty well. Also, like T1, I think did this before, where they picked the Winter Wyvern with the Magnus. A lot of teams are picking up Winter Wyvern against Magnus, so you sort of preemptively dodged a counter pick there. It's also just pretty nice. We saw that clip from, was it Limp? They got like a two-man Winter Curse versus OG, and then Limp was able to skewer the third hero, and they got 3-man RP in the top river.
I guess the nice thing about Magnus Wyvern as a counter to the Doom is the fact that if you, let's say your single core that you're enabling is doomed, you have so many ways to disconnect the engagement, be it by Magnus sacrificing himself with the skewer, or the Wyvern just hitting that curse. There's a lot of nice kind of defensive mechanisms here against the Doom once again. VP, of course, let's go for a casual line.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think VP are also on that read because they think if you're trying to disengage, you can just get some hard lockdown.
Yeah.
Line does that very well. If you finger, hex, stun the Doom target, they are going to die, even if you get Curse and RP to try to disengage.
And I will say, Save is one of the best lions that I was able to watch during the European and Eastern European DPC. The amount of patience this individual has when he's playing the line. He will wait in the tree line. He won't jump the first target or the second target. He will always know exactly who he needs to jump, and that's when he hits these 2-3-man Earth Spikes. Just like, for example, Zephyr on T1, how amazing he is on the Nyx. I think this is basically the equivalent for Save and Virtus Pro.
Yeah, I think Virtus Pro as a team, they're very good at planning out how they want to take team fights. They have very communicative players in pubs. I'm sure it translates into their pro games, though, to plan out everything about how they want to approach. I mean, the ideal at least before it gets messy.
The whole idea of understanding the team fight, T1 now respect that by banning the Spectre. It simplifies the engagement for VP, because when you have heroes like Doom and Lion, you need to have a good understanding of the entire fight to connect that clean Doom, to connect that instant lockdown from Lion. So many times we've seen in ESL Summer so far, where we have people running away from this Doom target, kind of just fleeing, and yeah, I don't mind this ban at all. And then the Grim ban, just to respect the good old classic Grim Doom combination.
That seems like something that T1 themselves would do. Has VP been running much Grimstroke?
No, not really, no. I believe during the major, it was a unpicked hero for themselves, and so far in ESL Summer, it as well has been an unpicked hero.
I mean, if you've executed this Grim Doom as well as T1 did last game, I think it's very easy to just respect that. It's a pretty good combo with Lion as well. I'm surprised that VP banned out the Phoenix, but maybe they just wanted T1 to avoid the double bird strat. Just thematically, very scary.
It is very scary. Ice and fire, but of course, the ice can cover the fire so that the egg does explode.
When do we get the electric bird? When is Zapdos getting added to Dota 2?
When's the patch coming?
When is the patch coming?
How about that one?
Also a good question.
You think as soon as this grand final ends, they just drop it and it's like, ha, good luck in TI qualifiers, everybody.
It's Sunday right now.
4 days to TI qualifiers, right?
I think it might be less.
3 days.
Yeah, maybe earlier.
And SA starts pretty early.
Let's see, what time is it in Seattle right now? I'll tell you what time it is. Oh, never mind, that wasn't a pick. It is currently 8 a.m. in Seattle.
Enchantress for T1. So I saw in this tournament that Doom was getting sort of picked against Enchantresses, sort of as a counter pick. But I think, and Doom used to be a counter pick to Magnus. It got a bit changed now because you still want a lot of physical damage versus Doom. But I think T1, they're like very confident in these heroes if they're picking them against Virtus Pro's lineup.
Yeah, Cuckoo's so happy. Just, you know, T1, they just bleed so much energy, and it is very infectious. But T1, with the Wyvern and the Enchantress, we've seen it being so potent, this combination, just because of the amount of healing that you have.
Whoa, no way. There's no way. There's no way.
Okay.
There's no way. That has to be a misclick.
No, not at all. Why would that be a misclick, sir?
Because it was completely uncontested, not only throughout the Animator, but also Season 2 DPC.
All right. But this is it, you know, Grand Finals, best of 5, game 1. This is kind of like the opening draft is a little bit kind of, not scripted, but you kind of understand like the give and take when two teams at this level, when they played so much. And now we get to see a bit of a left field silencer. Why is it good? Or potentially, it could be like a cover to the Wyvern. It's a hero that's constantly enabling without the team fight. If you hit that big global, a position 5 or even 4 Wyvern can't really itemize quickly to deal with the global, right? You can't cold embrace. So I can see maybe why it could be good. They pair it with a TA for that explosive jump.
I mean, you're just describing why Silencer is a hero at all. Curtis, why is Silencer not a good hero?
As T-Governor mentioned, though, it is specifically good versus Wyvern and Magnus.
Okay.
The hero also got one of its biggest buffs. Now Curse continues to do damage during the duration of silences while not losing any silence duration. So if you curse someone in global, that's like 11 seconds of debuff. If you get down to Magnus, he cannot blink for 14 seconds effectively.
And I can respect the idea behind it. It literally is the logic of they have 3 jumps now. You know, Doom buys blink, Lion buys blink, TA will eventually go for a blink. They will all go onto the single target. If you layer that with a global and kill that hero, that should unlock the fight. If they mess up, then their draft will be very deconstructed. It'll be hard to play.
I wouldn't want to play Silencer into Enchantress though. I think the lane's going to be very hard. I think there's a high chance that VP get overrun on the map.
And that's why T1 go for the PA, right? They go for an easier hero that simply buys BKB, has Deso, will be able to execute Silencer online. They don't really itemize that well to deal with PA early on because they want to buy other items. So I like the fact that T1 just go for a mag PA. They see through kind of the quirkiness of VP and it's like, cool, you're trying to be the creative ones. We're just going to pick solid heroes that can skirmish, can fight, and can punish the cooldowns that Global is trying to unlock in VP's lineup.
I would like to see VP put the Silencer against the PA in lane. If you get Curse on her, she can't use her like low cooldown spells at all. And then hopefully they can buy a bunch of sentries on Lion to contest. I'm assuming this is Zephyr's Enchantress.
It's a good thing you bring that up because we saw in the Weatherman segments how T1 was able to dismantle Enchantress from Virtus Pro. But when VP played into it, they didn't put the same amount of effort into shutting this hero down. Was that a Kunkka?
Yeah, it was a Kunkka. Oh man, this is a fun draft out of VP.
Mid Doom offlane Kunkka, but potentially they could flex it up.
Wait, well, where's TA? Safe lane TA?
Oh no, of course. Oh, wait, sorry, I'm being silly. Yeah, it's going to be the safe lane Doom and the offlane Kunkka mid TA.
Well, I mean, we've seen safe lane TA in South America.
VP has run this kind of double offlane style with a TA before.
Okay.
In this tournament specifically, so I would gravitate more towards that.
At the major, they ran it with like a Mars safe lane, right?
Yeah, no,
that one didn't work as well, but I think this one is more like Dota Theory sound.
Yeah.
I think most likely, unless there's a matchup that you specifically want TA safe lane against, you are going to put that hero mid.
Yeah.
Usually, Centaur and Brood, but since Centaur sort of fell off a bit and Brood is, I mean, he's sort of been ignored this tournament, to be honest.
Banned out pretty regularly, but
not in like these last games.
Yeah.
And you can see from the fact that we are getting to the final pick in Timbersaw, for example, for T1, this was a second phase ban. A hero that VP haven't lost with so far, and it kind of carried them to this position. So yeah, really refreshing takes now. 1:30 left for T1 to decide what they need. Most likely will be a mid laner to at least try and mitigate this kind of big win condition that TA is. Like if TA has no game, it's a lot of enablers, a lot of kind of run at you, but not that kind of decisive way to like unlock Roshan. So I think maybe shutting down the TA in laning phase will be a good way for T1 to bridge the gap of the time needed for Mag and Pierre to get into the game.
Razor, Batrider are both banned.
Viper's banned, yeah.
I think they might just end up putting the Magnus mid. It's not that bad a matchup for Magnus. You can get some pretty good skewer, Shockwave into skewers.
Carl played a handful of Sand King. Do you think that's any good? They
could find a hero that's good versus TA mid, like Sand King, as Tsunami was mentioning. That could work. I don't think Sand King's good versus TA mid, though.
Okay.
It's like a... You both sort of just farm, and it can work, but I think TA just farms too much in that matchup.
The reason I'm thinking about it is I want heroes that are kind of eager to build dispels, because that's one of the reasons why I think Silencer fell off, because Flicker exists, Stormcrafter exists, Greaves, Lotus Orb, Yules, these are all items that are very regularly built and take off the global. And so if you can get that from your mid laner, that would be great.
That's a good point. Silencer is the type of hero that, as the game goes on longer, globally becomes less and less valuable. You want to like take over the map early with that hero, because eventually their support, like the Winter Wyvern, will have a Lotus Orb or Greaves or whatever to take off global, and then you have a lot less value.
They just go for the Venom. All right, that's fair.
That works. Rude against the Templar Assassin.
Especially with the Enchantress. The Enchantress against 2 range support, she should be able to take over the map. Combined with the Venom, I think you should be able to snowball off the TA matchup pretty well.
These are exciting drafts, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is refreshing. Coming to a grand final, we're going to see a Silencer pick. We now got the Venom into TA that has often been banned, so we've not really been able to see the true effect that Venom has against TA, and this will be a big eye-opener too. If this game goes well for either team, it kind of puts a lot of pressure going into game 2, how they approach the draft, because this is a lot of execution and kind of thought has gone into this one. So yeah, it's an exciting game.
Which one are you favoring so far?
I think I prefer the simplicity of T1, where like the mag, the PA, and then it's the Veno for laning phase, but I guess I'm a little bit scared about how impactful Veno is. Can TA just go jungle? And will they even be able to offset the timing of Kunkka plus Doom and TA all just running around this map? So I'm a little bit worried for T1, but I have the confidence that they always have this ability to kind of come back in these slightly harder games.
Well, it's a hard game to get into grand finals. And you think it's just the teams that are competing? No, my friends. The casters are also competing for the privilege of taking this grand final commentary. Gentlemen, please enter the arena.
They're off.
Please enter the arena.
Please enter the arena. Please enter the arena.
Please enter the arena.
There we go. We have two of the finest analysts.
We have 2 contenders. It is a Jenkins Dota and Lacoste Dota. Please now, this is not the arena. Please go into the arena. Get in the arena.
There we go.
3, 2, 1, fight!
All right, so strong lead from Jenkins. He's been a bit more enthusiastic. Lacoste really isn't trying.
Lacoste is dead.
Wait,
Lacoste, he just died.
Wait, what?
He's dead.
That was it?
Go cast, Jenkins. Go cast
Jenkins
Dota
wins.
2.
Congratulations.
Jenkins and Sunsfan for game number 1.
I'm not gonna. That was a good effort, gentlemen. I think we're missing the death animation there. Not sure if that's a bug. Maybe still in beta.
That was not how that was planned.
Yeah, you didn't even realize that was the fighting arena.
No.
Well done, Jenkins.
I wasn't told. I'm never told.
All right, well, Sunsfan here with Jenkins for this game 1 of a best of 5 between T1 and VP. Both teams have looked very good. This, of course, is a rematch, as VP did win the previous series in the upper bracket finals 2-1, but all 3 games for the most part could have gone either way. These teams are definitely evenly matched.
You are correct, Sunman. It seems like both of these teams have excellent late game decision making. They can change up what they're doing as the game is going. They're really good at figuring things out. They're not just one-trick ponies that do one style. As you can see, T1, look at this draft. This looks like an alliance draft to me. Magnus Wyvern opener.
Yeah.
It's either
with the Empower.
Yeah. It's either respect or disrespect.
And we're
Maybe a bit of both.
We'll find out in the post-game interview if they do end up winning here. As looks like T1 are able to get 3 out of 4, if I'm not mistaken. That last one. So not too bad start for T1. And yeah, let's talk about these lineups, because obviously the Doom, he played a literally the best Kunkka game I've ever seen for that kind of a build. And we see a support silencer. Talk to me about this hero, Jenkins.
It makes sense against the Magnus plus the Winter Wyvern opening. You have 2 heroes who are heavily reliant on bursting people with those 2 ultimates. And Silencer is just about the biggest buzzkill hero in the game for that. But I agree with what the panel was saying, that maybe a bit of what has made this hero fall off is the amount of good dispels for the global silence.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even neutral items are giving dispels these days, so that is definitely, I mean, yeah, I never thought about that, but I mean, this hero isn't picked. Do you think that's the main reason towards it?
Maybe not the main reason. Another problem is the laning is a little bit weak, but you know, when you're playing with a Magnus on the enemy team and a Doom in the safe lane, then the lane's always going to be a little bit weird, so it does feel like a decent game for it.
And then on T1 side is we have a pause here. We talked about the Magnus. We've seen that before many a time. And the Power PA. So, I mean, PA, when she was a little bit more popular, Battle Fury was the build. Now that Battle Fury has just kind of been essentially deleted, it feels like, from most heroes in the game. The Empower kind of replaces that. So, in theory, that's why I'm guessing that they picked her.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people in pubs try to figure out what exactly they can do with PA to make it work. And Echo Saber was a pickup. I've seen a couple of Diffusal Blades. But with the Magnus, you can just go for the regular build minus the Battle Fury. He's rushing into a Deso and find a Carl.
Has to pop the Fairy Fire. The Side Blades didn't connect that time around. And this is another lane we have yet to talk about that's very interesting. It's GPK on the TA, of course, which isn't uncommon at all. Versus Venomancer, who can just take off that refraction super fast. You see some action here. Torrent's going to miss. Whitemon sidestepping it, but there's a Blink Strike. DM with the right clicks to follow. Save. Looks like he's going to be first blooded, so T1 gets the better
skill. And against a PA, that's not easy. Even Enchantress has decent move speed, 320 at level 1. That's quite high. Another mass disconnect from T1.
Got some lag issues. I believe they're probably still in the hotel in Kiev, my guess.
Yeah, there were a couple of internet outages. I was getting them less than anybody else was.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi was. I mean, it was just the first couple days were not great, but then after that,
they figured it out.
We're off. But talk to me about the Venomancer. I mean, yeah, I brought up the refraction. What else is there to this hero that makes?
Veno can take over TH jungle. That's something. You've got the flag wards, and that's some of the best area control in the game, if not the best area control in the entire game. And so you can go into the TH jungle, take up the Ancients, but you do need a supporting cast behind you. Veno can't do that alone. So these other side lanes need to go quite well. Has to happen.
See Kingslayer just harassing the absolute crap out of Cuckoo. And Glaives of Wisdom are super annoying. The fact that you can steal some int without having to get a kill these days, just temporary. There's a little bit of a quality of life change for Silencer over the years.
And Kingslayer is holding his point, so he doesn't know whether he wants to go for the Arcane Curse or the Last Word, possibly depending on if he needs to save somebody with the Last Word, get that silence out, or go for a kill with the Arcane Curse.
Am I the only one that wishes this hero was viable enough to be carry again? I like the idea of I like the idea of ranged carries that are int, so like Lina type.
Okay, I'm with you there, but don't you hate mana burn as a concept? Isn't that one of your shticks?
No, it's just mana drain from Lion specific.
I see. You just hate Lion. I mean,
I mean, look at Lion's face. He is the literal ugliest hero in the entire freaking game. He's so ugly, they've had to make so many different cosmetics of different color just to hide how ugly he has become.
And to be frank, they're quite horrible.
Yes, indeed. As we can see the skewer onto Kingslayer, slowed up with that Arctic Burn as well. Cuckoo continue the chase, but in the trees, Kingslayer.
Got my ear.
Shockwave is there to finish him off, and Nightfall not there in time, although he'll be able to do much anyway.
T1 recognized Nightfall was walking away to go get a creep, picks up the Toughness Aura. Lots of armor from this Doom now because of that 5 armor that he now has to work at level 1.
Yep.
Very nice buff to the
Incredible that when that happened, he just picked all the time after not being picked for so long. But when you play position 1, as we're going to see, oh my, the Earthspike was there just to cancel the Tornado. Save is taking heavy damage though, as the chicken is actually going to fall before being able to kill off the Leon.
Bit of a bait. He did have the salve, so he could have survived one more hit there. Good discipline from Whitemon not going in.
I mean, I'm really curious to see if DM goes for the same build he did in the series that we cast, because that was absolutely epic. That was... He went shard like right away, right?
Yeah.
I remember what the actual build-up was. He's going for Urn this time around.
Pipe shard, I think he went for.
Yeah.
But he has the Urn this time, so really valuing that extra bit of damage. Mana regen stats.
Kingslayer. I mean, look at this damage to Zephyr. Zephyr really can't do anything about it. Nice miss there, though. Definitely planned that one.
Laning against the Silencer in terms of harass is a big pain. The problem with Silencer is the fact that he's so squishy, he can feed. But in a situation like that, where you're 1v1 trading with the support, it feels really good to be Silencer.
Back to the position 1 Doom. Is there, I mean, you build any differently on this hero? Or is it the same kind of build, you just get it faster?
I think the concept of this Doom late game taking 2 heroes out of sight.
Oh, the X is a little bit too slow, as it's actually 23 Savage not even getting the kill, but also getting X back into range of these creeps a little bit faster.
Is this the first time we've seen DM Kunkka lose a lane? I think it is.
31-5 for 23 Savage and 26-2 for DM. I mean, he's not doing terribly.
He's not getting dumpstered, but usually VP plays off of a completely snowballing offline Kunkka.
That's true. Yeah, that's the first time in memory at least, but it is against T1, of course, so their laning is nothing to scoff at for sure.
They did get dumpstered by the Kunkka, so they have
Phantom Strike is there with the Enchanta slow. Torrent will connect, but DM is in quite a bit of trouble here. No reinforcements on the way. This is going to be yet another kill, this time to 23 Savage on the very important DM that we've been praising thus far. Save. Looks like he might get the courier. Indeed, or Spike only can connect on a creep, though. To be just trying to dance his way out of here. That disgusting face of his. Not save, the lion specifically.
Whitemon has some chance up soon. Nice double stun.
He is more than fine, and the slow comes out into Zephyr as well as GPK able to secure himself an illusion rune. So at what point does the Venom start bothering the TA? Because so far, he's doing just fine.
It does look like he's doing just fine. The traps are a problem. The Sentry Ward coming out from Carl is definitely something that is much needed. GBK is doing a really good job at keeping his distance, so Carl's not able to gale him, but you have to be careful because this isn't one of those lanes that TA wins or that Vena wins by just farming. You kill the TA. And so it's all about getting a gale when the TA walks up a little too far.
Nightfall gonna get Scorched Earth off. Have the Doom available as well. Can they actually chase him down, though, is the question. He's going to go into the freeze. He has the TP coming in, trying to juke around. We see the Gale into the Poison Nova. Nightfall is just going to TP out, and the deny is there from Carl. So, in essence, nobody really dies.
Favoring VP slightly because they force out the mid laner rotation. Maybe favoring them heavily if they get a decent chunk of damage on this mid tower. It's very important.
Let's have that Blightstone to help him out.
We've seen a lot of TAs do that throughout the major, where the enemy mid laner leaves and then they just dumpster the tower.
Dave getting caught out here. The Gale has nowhere to go, but GPK trying to get the return kill at the very least, but he gets skewered back into the tier 2 RP as well. So has that refraction up, but finally tries to attempt the TP out and will be successful. Actually, to the tier 1 mid. He has a full bottle to work with. Oh, and a trusty shovel. How nice.
Bad, not bad. Nice TP in from Cuckoo, of course, with that bot lane death.
Oh, yeah. Oh my.
Oh, okay.
That is definitely the rune to get.
Not so bad.
I mean, that Kobold is the end of me, personally.
That thing's the worst. Walking around with tranquil boots, it spawns, punches you. It's like, I'm only killing you out of spite.
Yeah.
You're not even worth the gold.
This is true.
Killing you. People just leave it. They don't bother.
GPK at half HP, so he doesn't have to be a big care because the Tomato's going to be harassing him a bit as we're seeing the impact move of the shovel. Yes.
Oh, that was such
Look at this efficiency. Oh, he bottled a little bit too quick there, to be fair.
A bit.
Not fully efficient there on GPK, but that's okay.
A little bit of nerves getting to GPK here, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely the nerves. I believe the Tomato was running at him, so it is quite a scary sight, for sure.
You don't expect to see that.
All right, but T1, I mean, this is against a Doombringer, so the fact that they're only up, I mean, they're up technically is a good sign for them to start this game out.
It goes both ways, though. We have Magnus plus PA on one side, and then on the other side, we have a Doom. So both lineups are kind of supposed to outfarm the other, and it can't.
Fair enough, fair enough. 23 Savage is just going for straight Desolator after he picked up those treads, so that's pretty cool to see. And as we see a Hex in the bot lane, 3-man gank from VP will be successful onto Zephyr. So in this instance where you're given essentially this farm from the Empower onto the PA, Deso, BKB, and then do you fight? Because typically in the old days, as in 2 months ago, it would be Battle Fury, Deso, BKB, then you fight.
I think with just the Deso, you can probably fight. Because you have these other heroes to set up for you and protect you. It's very difficult to fight into a Winter Wyvern Curse and a Magnus RP. At the very least, you can use these to protect your carry. Just literal AoE stuns. Worst case, you use them and the carry jumps away.
Nightfall picked up his Midas. He is top net worth and doing very well.
Double damage.
Already used his Doom, which, you know, one of those things where sometimes you're sitting on this spell for a really long time, but He's gotten pretty good use out of it thus far. Night Slayer still only level 4, so no global silence to come, although I'm not sure who took the home on their feet. Might have been Whitemon, or maybe they're still delivering it, not sure. Either way, what kind of impact is the global silence going to have this game? Because do you have to itemize to try to get like a Lotus Orb or a Greaves or something like that to be able to work around it?
Not necessarily. I think one problem with picking Silencer into Magnus is that, yes, Magnus is based pretty hugely on winning team fights with RP. That is a factor. But also, you hit creeps, you farm stacks. Veno's the same thing. You can control areas of the map with the wards and get farm that other heroes couldn't get. So T1 is perfectly fine with farming and just ignoring the global by virtue of not fighting. You just, well, if the global never gets used, it's not a problem.
Yeah, and you can see Carl going for the Invoker build. Brown Boots, Spirit Vessel, and now Midas is next. So we are seeing like a huge resurgence, I feel like, in Hand of Midas in the last 3 weeks, I want to say, that it was just not built on basically any hero. Maybe Doom and Invoker are the only two, but now we're just seeing it almost every game from these.
I really wanted to ask in the interview T1 about their Midas, like when they think Midas is good, because like you said, you don't see it. It's only like late into the major that we started seeing it. But unfortunately, or fortunately, Whitemon was the interviewee, so he's a support player. I'm sure he's just like, God damn my cores, why are they buying Midases every game? I didn't want to, spark any.
I forget, was it T1 or VP that had 2 Midases, and we were talking about how they had to just kind of delay because they were against kind of a push lineup, and then they ended up just winning with the Midases shortly after.
Yeah, that was VP.
I literally don't even understand the concept here. You see the Earth Spike into the boat, and the death again for Mr. Zephyr himself. So 1k net worth lead here for VP, as obviously Doom is carrying the load here.
Here's my theory on the Midas, and keep in mind, I'm an idiot.
Okay, yep, we can do that.
So, it's hard to push towers because of TPs. They're huge now. You can TP in a long distance in any of these trees. You cannot just Quelling Blade trees down and prevent TP locations now. So, that's one thing. Pushing is hard. And then, number 2, there's all of these little tree paths to hide in now. So, juking around the map and delaying the game is much easier than it was before. Before, if you split pushed, you would die. And these days, if you think that your team is good at hiding and being annoying, and T1, these are the guys building Midas, this is exactly what we see their supports doing every game, just sitting in trees, feeding or TPing out at low HP. And so I think that lends itself to playing this kind of delayed, there's a timer on you because we have Midas' style, because you think you can delay the game for long enough that the Midas is coming to play. That's at least my theory on it.
So what you're saying is Hand of Midas recipe will be increased by another 100 gold.
Possibly. I don't think this sort of thing would work in pubs, though. I think you need a full lineup that is committed to...
By the way, after all this talk, he's changed his mind. I think he might be listening in. He's like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of them talking about Hand of Midas. Let's just go for a heal set.
It's more like if Sunsfan and Jenkins are saying that this is good, it's gotta be complete garbage.
I never said it was good. I'm just interested that people are buying.
You're pretending to be interested in what I was
saying. Hand of Midas is an interesting item. I'm not making that up. As Nightfall has his Blink Dagger now, and you can see that VP is smoking on a couple member here. Carl will be a very big kill if they want to go for him. They can see the courier is on its way. Nightfall jumps in. Carl. There's the Doom coming on, but it's going to cost him the Poison Nova. The Finger is there to finish him off as well. As Nightfall is going to get RP'd in turn. Cuckoo finds that kill himself, so it's a 1-for-1 with Save being the second now in favor of T1. It's a really good turnaround with these TPs.
I'm realizing that this was a really great Veno pick for more reasons than just the fact that it counters TA. Of course, you also have the Kunkka, which the Veno counters because the boat wears off eventually, and then all of the Veno dots will kill the target. But also, if you Doom Veno and he gets all of his abilities off, the Doom was wasted. So it seems really good to just put the Veno in front and have him be the Doom target.
Dire's bottom tower.
Global Silence was used in that fight, which go back and see if that was actually a little bit too early or not. But I mean, T1 ends up on top in terms of the trades there overall. But still, very even game as expected between these two juggernaut teams. I mean, if I was picking, I know this is a little biased because we just watched the Animator and whatnot, but top 4 teams in the world, these two would be in them. And VP is the only one that's like the question mark just because of the land performances.
Yeah, I agree.
But when you see them play online, it's just night and day from what we saw at the major itself.
There seems to be a correlation between teams that have a lot of fun, that are high rank, and winning. People that have fun are good.
That's not always true. I mean, EG at TI5, that was a miserable group.
That's true. I can confirm that.
I think everybody can confirm that's pretty obvious from afar. As Zephyr still in the trees here, save, trying to wrap around. Yep, there we go. The Hex. First spike to follow with the Urn. And the Shark is coming. This will be an eventual kill onto Zephyr again, which, again, he's been kind of doing this thing on the Winter Wyvern, just trying to create space. You talked about the idea of just hanging around in the trees, delaying the push, and
classic Zephyr.
that's what he's doing.
He expects this sort of thing at that point, and I think T1 does as well. But it's something you have to do if you're VP. You can't let a support sit there and counter-push and delay. They're basically putting the onus on you to dive them to get that tower.
Under attack.
VP, they do it.
As DM looks to be, I thought he was finishing the Spirit Vessel. Maybe it's on the way right now, but either way, he's going for the pipe next. Maybe the Spirit Vessel's...
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Dire standing for
Casual hood against the Veno. This does make sense.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that just the healing over time, as well as the max resistance, is enough often to fight through all of the Veno spells.
Yeah, I just hope to God that he goes again for that shard, because that's going to be very, very entertaining. GPK, so much damage right here. See the X marks into the Torrent. That's going to be a freebie onto Whitemon, as we have mass disconnections in the middle of the fight.
Oh, that's not good.
Not good timing at all.
Then again, I suppose they're global, so it's not like they could have pressed spells.
This is true.
But Veno does have a Yules.
Yeah, we can see that the Doom is applied right now to Cuckoo on the Magnus. So he's probably going to die here as well. And the Global Silence, it's almost done though, so we'll see if the Venomancer can do anything. I mean, they do have the Yules, so that takes off the Global. Although at this point, it's no point in using it probably. Yeah, this is going to be a freebie with the Finger of Death charge. Double kill for DM, and we'll see if they can turn this into a Roche potentially. So now onto GPK. It's a 5v3 situation. I mean, this is the beauty of having a Venomancer. You can always put these wards to at least get some vision in the pit. X marks onto Carl, though. Of course, VP know they have the numbers advantage right here. Nice Yules dodging a little bit there, but the boat is coming. Will connect. The follow-up. Yep. Nightfall jumps in, takes the Poison Nova. Basically just to him. He's going to try to TP out, but there's the Curse to cancel it. And another pause. Okay.
That's just a BM pause on Nightfall. He said in the pause the other night.
It seems to be a very common trend this game to have a double pause. The Discord is always the second one, right?
GPK was side-blading off of Plague Wards to get that kill. That was one of those very, very strange long-range poke kills on the Venomancer, where if they commit to that, maybe they just die to the Wyvern Curse. So they had to do that from long range with like 3 different random abilities. X, of course, probably the easiest thing to hit from long range.
I think they're ready to go, and Nightfall's in a lot of trouble here. He's getting beat on by his friend. Of course, that Poison Nova is still applied. Oh, he's going to tick out. I guess that was the Poison Sting on top of it. And Zephyr now getting chased. Look at the damage. Trying to get the side blades, but not going to be in range here. And T1 still delaying pretty successfully. And now with Nightfall down,
come on, Sprites.
VP actually want to continue on here. X marks onto Whitemon, but yeah, no follow-up here. So T1 successfully defend Roche. Did cost them a couple lives, but they'll take it.
The Spirit Vessel on DM is a real problem for T1 right now. They can't just run a hero in and save them with the Winter Wyvern, which is what most people have been doing to start their fights. They can't even run Whitemon in on Enchantress. You can see how little the healing did there. And if any other damage sources come out, I think Whitemon just dies. He's so squishy at this point, other than the heal.
Save has a blink, by the way. 18-minute blink on Lion. That seems pretty fast.
Yeah, that's very fast.
Go to the next. So they're going to have that Blink Hex. I mean, they have pretty good initiation overall, and obviously really good catch. And it's on top of the Global Silence potential, which we've seen a couple times, but maybe hasn't had the biggest impact yet. But still pretty early on.
The Global?
Yeah.
It's hard to see the impact of it.
That's what I'm saying. It's difficult to see.
Because it's just, nothing happens, literally.
There's no sound either, you know?
That's true. You can't hear the impact
everybody. Yeah, as we can see, the typical build here from Zephyr.
Dire's top tower
has that Holy Locket. We'll be getting the Cold Embrace heal at level 10 in all likelihood. There's a nice extra gold from this Philosopher's Stone as well. 23 here, that continues not to get banned. Tier 1 tower is just going to be given up here. It looks like Torrent's going to connect, but no follow-up.
Healed over.
T1. Oh, the RP going to catch DM. Skewers into the other side here. Going to get Gale on top of that, and it looks like VP just want to let him go. Boat comes out, but not a whole lot of damage done here.
Is about to flounder.
T1 get the free pickoff. Well, free. Nothing's free in life, Jenkins. I don't know if anybody ever told you that, but
I've never heard that before.
it cost a Magnus ult.
Yeah.
There's always a cost.
It's always Lacoste.
That's right.
He is at every event. That's
Yeah.
maybe it was
Warranted,
Lacoste.
though.
Somebody was mentioning on the panel that Magnus is a counter to these disengage spell, or these kind of big team fight ultis and these disengage spells, because you skewer people so far away that nothing can be pressed on the person that gets gone on. And it's cool, we see it there. The RP into skewer out. It's like even if VP was in position, they can't save the skewer target. It's too far away. Their formation is broken immediately by that. His repositioning abilities have been so strong for this reason in the past. And it's exactly why HUD is really strong right now.
Wow, I was wondering where you were going with that, so I appreciate that very much.
I'm just kidding. Please, Ice Frog, buff my boy.
He's never going to get buffed again. But no, that's very true. I mean, the one thing is if there was global silence, you can't do that, right? Once the RP is off, you're just going to get global silence and you can't skewer anymore. But of course, they are itemizing to a degree. He's building a Yules right now, which obviously not the most common item to find on the Magnus. But the Dispel is going to be ultra important here.
Carl's going for Greaves as well, so we're going to have 2 types of Dispel on him. And the Greaves feels a lot better because you don't have to sit for 2.5 seconds doing nothing, which effectively is a disable whenever he globals. That's exactly what you want. You use that to disable people. But going for the Yules first just because it's cheaper and guaranteeing that there's going to be something to take that off, and then doubling back to the Greaves.
Definitely a good choice. But still kind of a farm game right now. Not a ton of action. The first Roche was semi-attempted at first, and then it kind of got broken up with a couple kills on each respective side. I mean, who does this current pace of the game benefit the most, you think? Because there's Doom on one side, and then there's PA with the Empower on the other.
T1, I think that he's probably going to, on 23 Savage, eventually get a Rapier, and with that timing, there is going to be very little that VP can do. Other
got a 4-man smoke, a 3-man smoke here from VP. Want to defend this Roshan. DM's getting caught out for now. Spirit Vessel's applied to him. As the X. Oh, the instant Hex on a Cuckoo. Very nicely done as Whitemon's taking a ton of damage from afar. GPK doing work. Nightfall jumps in. You can see the global silence into the Doom, onto the Magnus. And that is going to be the first kill in this fight for VP. A big, big one. He does have buyback, though, so if they overextend, he can definitely get back into this fight.
That trap is just out of range of this Sentry Ward. So T1 doesn't realize, but VP, they know the exact status of Roshan as that's happening. There's no way they can get away with that. That's exactly why VP is smoking.
Yeah, they have smoke. Of course, Global Silence and Doom are down, but they know that Magnus is dead for another 15 seconds, so perhaps they can get a pickoff before he respawns. 23 Savage. Oh, Zephyr, yep. The instant Hex into the Disable. It's a double stun. He actually jumps into it with the PA. 23 Savage pops the BKB, though, and blows up Save with the coup de grace. Now he's just getting pounded in by TA. Jumps on the other side. We see a Winter's Curse delaying the fight, so 23 Savage can actually get some damage here. Poison Nova from Carl onto DM, who's now in the trees here, completely surrounded by the PA, getting pounded. A nice cold embrace, but there's the skewer into the double RP from Cuckoo. Shockwave to follow. Double kill on 23 Savage as T1 are masterful in these fights. 23 Savage might finally tick down, but it cost him the entirety of VP. And Roche is still at half HP, and despite not having the PA, see if they can finish it off themselves or have to wait for him in the end.
Bit of a false sense of security there from VP, having that information in the pit, knowing that they can do a smoke wraparound there, picking off Zephyr, but he has buyback, and then they're fighting right into that T1 ward, which lets 23
Radiant's middle
juke around this fight, even at low HP. They could never get him.
That was a nice impale.
It was a really great start, but the insta-burst, as well as the BKB, there's nothing that goes through this, and TA does not have any evasion piercing right now, so...
Yeah, 23 Savage did such a good job of kind of going in and out and just being an annoying presence.
I like that he jumped to Carl as well, using Carl as kind of a backbone for this fight, where it's like, you know what? Oh, you're gonna kill me, you're gonna take all of Venomancer's spells as well. And then all of this just sets up, because they're so desperate to kill 23 for the beautiful 2-man RP from Cuckoo.
T1, well, for once they're not
They look
jovial. They're very serious, yeah.
That makes me a little worried for them.
They're taking this very seriously. This is the grand finals after all. All right, so they didn't wait, or they did wait for the PA. I guess they just have no damage, really, from Roche perspective, despite it being at half HP. So now they're going to be in there.
Bro, this trap is still a real problem. It's right outside of 2 sentry wards.
Yeah. All right, well, the Torrent's going to connect on the Centaur, as this is a very slow Roche without 23 Savage there. Which, again, like you said, the information's already there for VP. The status.
They don't need to rush anything because of the trap. This is so inconvenient. I don't think it's really cool positioning from the trap. I mean, usually the sentry ward's a little bit closer to the pit, but because supports obviously don't want to get caught out of position, they just kind of put it as close as they can get.
Oh
safe.
my goodness. All right, we have an Aghanim Scepter on 23 Savage, by the way.
Yeah, the usual build.
That's awesome.
The
you
usual
can take
build for
off
this?
silence.
Well, take off silence.
Yes. Yeah. Skewer back in, but the global silence to follow. 23 Savage jumps in. GPK is BKB though, so not a lot of damage done in the end. We see the tidal wave coming out as well. Our Spike's going to connect only onto one, and then the 4-staff keeping GPK healthy. Shockwave is there as well. Nightfall actually pops his BKB here. No death somehow. Might break the fight up here as the Torrent will connect. I mean, it's a basic dispel, but I guess you can't cast if you're global silence.
Because it is a spell.
You have to get Satanic for that, I guess, yeah. But that is such a cool act. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but I feel like this is a very important Roche that both teams have spent so many resources trying to defend. Of course, T1 going back and forth. They still have not gotten this trap.
If only they knew that trap was there, VP would be so much more worried about Roshan because they wouldn't know the status of it. They have to go fight. But they know that if Roche is standing on that trap, the T1's not taking it.
Yeah, tidal wave. With 23 Savage with a double damage now. That is pretty big.
Did he dank with the Aghanim Scepter?
Absolutely.
Insta-burst.
There's no global silence for a bit here. So T1 should feel relatively safe. Another 45 seconds for that to come up. Tidal wave again coming. This is such an annoying spell. Of course, Boat has such a low cooldown. It can spend that basically any point. Boat can see the Centaur stun start things out, and there's the BKB jumping from 23 Savage. The death of Kingslayer buys back into the game, though. And now the Boat coming in. Look at these side blades from GPK off of the Plague Wards, like you said earlier. They might be able to steal this. GPK now in the pin. Whitemon trying to get in there as well. Cuckoo misses the steal, though. Roshan is snapped. GPK takes it for himself. 23 Savage now trying to get out. Gets Doom, but it's the Lotus Orb Doom. So that is 2 targets that can't do anything now. All right, Cold Embrace applied to 23 Savages now. The Curse applied as well as TA is just beating the crap. That's going to be a dieback onto Kingslayer. Now the chase is on to 23 Savage, but the Doom has finally run out. And now he's going to jump in and absolutely blow up everybody. GPK does get up the refraction. Finally, the Aegis is popped. Nightfall in the triangle. Looks like it's going to be 5, but GPK is completely surrounded. Double kill for 23 Savage. So VP, they get the Aegis. T1 gets the Roche, technically. And it was only Roche number 1.
I love watching these two teams team fight.
It's crazy.
There's so much going on between the tidal waves, GPK hitting the Plague Wards, getting the pure damage, the Lotus Orb, the backline protection coming from T1. 23 Savage constantly playing on low HP. Can he actually get a... He's constantly playing on low HP. He's doomed, but he's playing around his team. Greaves are keeping him alive. T1 is playing so together and
look
around
at
the
these side blades, dude. Oh my god. That must have been like max range.
23 is, and he still did so much in this fight.
Yeah. Well, you get fully healed.
That does help a lot. Yes, that does help. Look at the tidal wave onto the high.
Yeah, actually pushed 23 Savage out of the pit.
It separates him, but then the Lotus Orb Doom.
Yeah.
Cuckoo's in position, and then everybody's playing on the high ground on T1. They know if they just frontline with these 2 tanky heroes.
This Golden Face is so stupid. He's literally unkillable. Finger of Death, they put 2 different ults on him here. Yeah, I don't know, man. It smells pretty busted right now. But either way, like, the execution from both sides is so crisp. Really a joy to watch both of these teams
It's
play.
going to be so frustrating for either side to lose a team play. It's like, good lord, what else could we have pressed? And I look at this as a Dota player and I think, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, well, 23 Savage, yeah, he's finding Kingslayer outside the Roche pit. You can see Saves in there as well, blinks out the safety after the Earth Spike comes out, but Kingslayer looks to be mega dead here. Okay, so let's talk about this Aghanim Scepter. Well, first, Doom got an Ags himself. This is a really early one, so this will apply the break, which is huge against PA, obviously, and it also lasts for 6 seconds longer for the Doom. So if you get that, you win the fight pretty much every time, I feel like. And the fact that it disables the coup de grace as well, actually. So you're even right-clicking. Like, typically, if you're one of these heroes that gets Doom, you can still right-click to some degree, but PA is literally useless now. That's a really good pickup.
The interesting thing about this Aghanim Scepter that 23 got is if he gets jumped by Doom, he's got that little bit of fade time where he can disjoint as Doom is casting it, and then he can blink away. So instead of going for something along the lines of a Lincoln Sphere, he's trusting that, oh, speaking of the Doom...
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They even see Nightfall.
They briefly saw him.
Okay.
It's a cool concept to...
Yeah, so basically, Blur has a much lower cooldown. You can instantly cast it. It'll give you a basic Dispel, but of course you can't use it with Silence.
0.5 seconds of Vanish, which is enough to cast the Phantom Strike away, and enough for Cuckoo to also put the Lotus Orb on.
And then kind of the... well, I was going to say coup de grace, but that doesn't really make sense. Well, we're going to have to pull that thought here. As Gale will connect on the Nightfall, has to pop his BKB pretty early. Ooh, Lotus Orb comes to Doom, but there's the Winter's Curse. GPK is beating the absolute crap again out of him, but there's the Global Science to follow. Nightfall can't get off his Doom in time, ends up dropping, but there's the RP. It's only going to connect onto one, though. It's Kingslayer getting chased by 23 Savage, who now wants to focus on GPK with the Spirit Vessel applied right now. Arctic Burn as well, so no refraction for you. GPK gets Yules right outside his base. And it looks like he's going to be brought down in the end. Triple kill for 23 Savage. He has entered beast mode. I mean, they played that against the Doom perfectly well. GG is called. Wow. Awesome game.
T1 is looking mega scary, dude. Yeah. It's crazy to see on one side the team fight execution. I've just never seen two teams team fight like this before.
Yeah. It feels like it's scattered to a degree, but kind of on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, they're having their own separate fights sometimes, but... Yeah,
I don't remember who it was during the major, but they described